Let's talk about something we've all experienced. You ever wonder why it's so easy to agree that 2 plus 2 equals 4, but it feels almost impossible to win a political debate? Well, today, we're diving into a really radical idea. What if we had a new kind of logic, one that's built not for the clean world of math, but for our messy, complicated human world?
It all kicks off with this question, a question we've all felt. Right? In math, 2 plus 2 is always 4. The logic is rigid, it's clear, it's predictable. But the second you step into a discussion about politics, or ethics, or even just what makes a good movie, all that certainty just vanishes into thin air. So why is that?
Well, here's the thing. The problem isn't necessarily us. It's the tools we're trying to use. See, classical logic, the kind of logic that powers our computers, it's totally rigid. It's binary. Everything is either true or false, black or white. And that works perfectly when you have all the information. But our world, the human world, well, that's a messy explosion of color. It's full of vagueness, missing pieces, and let's be honest, the fact that we can believe two totally contradictory things even before breakfast.
And this is where the big, fascinating idea comes into play. Instead of trying to cram all of our gray area problems into a black and white box, what if we built a new box, or maybe a whole new set of tools designed specifically for all this human complexity?
And that thought has a name. It's called the logic of humanitarian knowledge. Now, this isn't one single new logic. You got to think of it more like a proposed family of logics, a whole collection of them, where each one is custom-tailored to handle the unique challenges of reasoning in these complex, real-world human fields.
And that right there, that is the core shift. We're moving away from this idea of a single, universal black and white logic to a whole spectrum of colored logics. It's all about having the right tool for the right job, whether you're trying to dissect a legal argument or just figure out why someone holds a particular belief. So, where would we actually use these new tools? Well, pretty much everywhere humans are involved. Seriously, we're talking about philosophy, political science, social studies, but it also gets into the very formal structures of our legal systems and even the deeply personal and often illogical structures of our own beliefs. It's a logic for the conversations you and I have every single day.
And look, this isn't just some abstract idea floating around. There's a real push for this from inside the field. Logicians themselves are being challenged to find, and I'm quoting here, new means of proving things in these messy human domains, basically admitting that the old tools just aren't cutting it anymore.
Which of course brings up a great question. It's one thing to say, hey, we need new tools, but what are we actually trying to build with them? What's the end game here?
The goal is, both simple and incredibly profound. It's all about building better arguments. The idea is to start with the theory of argumentation itself, and from there, boost the convincing power of our reasoning. And if we can do that, well, the result is communication that has more authority and conclusions that are way more reliable. What's so cool about this is that in doing this, it opens up a fascinating new path. It starts to connect the very formal world of philosophy and logic with the worlds of psychology. You know, how we actually think and believe, and even information theory, which studies how we communicate. It's a truly interdisciplinary frontier.
Of course, you knew there was a but coming, right? An idea this huge is bound to face some serious hurdles. Building a logic for human messiness is, well, it's messy.
And this brings us to a really important reality check. The ambition is huge, right? To model entire legal systems or map out our complex beliefs. But the reality is that trying to formalize all that messiness is incredibly hard. Having incomplete information is a massive challenge, and the whole project of turning this into a precise science is, to put it mildly, far from complete.
So that leaves us with a final and pretty provocative thought. This whole field is really still in its early days, and it's facing enormous challenges. But just imagine for a second that we succeed. If we could actually develop a logic that truly gets the nuances of human reasoning, could we build better arguments, better systems, and maybe, just maybe, could we finally begin to untangle some of our most complex and divisive social problems?